So I'm at the corner of Liberty and the 700 block of Franklin Street. As you can see, this is a very, very busy road. It is one of the thoroughfares that takes people from Chambers Street, which is a county route, to Broad Street, which is a state route. So we've got people of all different ages who are walking. Some upgrades have been done, but sometimes you can see that not all of them have been done well. So now we've got standing water in some places by how things were pitched. We've got very busy businesses and grocery stores here that are providing services, fresh fruit, fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, and as you can see, you can get your SNAP benefits, EBT card, as well as WIC here. But one of the focuses I have is on Liberty Street here, since it's a thoroughfare. It's very difficult for people to cross the street. It's not infrastructurally set up for people who have businesses to get deliveries. So a simple measure that I'm thinking is for us to consider the trees that are planted and how they're being maintained, if maintained at all. But then for us to take some of the trees, like across the street, that have been removed and turning those into planters, low cost. But then something simple, let's put a road hump or a traffic calming measure device here to slow traffic down, and have those signs that we see in some communities that say yield to pedestrians in the crosswalk. And while we're at it, this is a quite wide sidewalk, and that's cool and all, but what about if we maybe carved out a couple of positions there that were for deliveries only, so that businesses like the grocery store and Mauceri's Pizza and the Mauceri that is down here can get their deliveries without stopping traffic. Something else we ought to consider is how fast people drive. There's no reason to be driving this fast for some of these vehicles. And if there's no stop sign, and it's a traffic light to traffic light situation, it becomes a road race. Clinton to Chambers, no stop signs. As you can see, we got a lot of standing water here as well. We have utility companies that have done a horrible job of their work. We have outdated infrastructure items such as this. This is full of whatever. Again, it's not properly drained. It's blocking crosswalk, the water. People like that vehicle they just passed feel that it's okay to park in the crosswalks. We have historic locations like this, Cemetary here, Brothers of Israel. It's a congregation that's based out of Pennsylvania, and I talk to them on a as-needed basis about the upkeep of their cemetery. As you can see, there's a lot of trash that's dumped here, whether it's just blowing down the street or whatever. But again, we have a very large sidewalk here. It's not maintained. The grass is cut, but it's not inviting or is ADA compliant. With that being said, we have a very busy intersection. We talked about Liberty Street, talked about the Mauceri, and then we've got Vroom Street here. So one of the suggestions that I have is that we take this sidewalk area here. As you can see, it's very busy. People are parking here. Make the sidewalk and the space from the curb a little bit smaller. And then with that, we can offer more parking, more stabilized parking, put in an EV charging station, new sidewalks. So just imagine if we went with a traditional curb cut that went from, instead of here being where the sidewalk started, the sidewalk maybe started another 18 to 24 inches in and ended here. And then we could provide cutout spaces for vehicles to park, for deliveries to be had, and then to put in an EV station. Along with that, I would say some cameras so that we can address the trash and the litter dumping that takes place on a regular basis. the poor infrastructure, and that has a horrible drainage, as you can see. And yeah, I know we just got a lot of rain, but that don't mean this. This is a combination of just human beings being filthy and an infrastructure that needs to be updated. And regardless of what anyone says, that's what needs to be done. And this is a good neighborhood. Pretty good here. Recently, I mentioned that I spoke to the Brothers of Israel. This is their tree in their cemetery. Who knows how old it is, but you can see it. Something happened. It fell. And it's obviously a fallen, and it's been here for a little bit. Some people have moved it. It did not happen with this storm. But let's get them to work on their maintenance. Maybe take this tree out. Here, you can get a look here and see some of the grave sites. It used to be open to the public, and I used to like to go in there on different seasons just to get a feel for it. It's tranquil, so to speak. But unfortunately, they ran into some problems with vagrants who were living in there. Some folks who were trying to, I guess, turn it into a homeless encampment. And then there was also some, damage that was physically done to some of the historic sites in the gravestones, which makes zero sense to me. But they're in the process of doing some things. And again, maybe this tree needs to be trimmed or removed. They put in this netting here, which is awesome to help, keep some of the debris out. But again, you see we've got infrastructure issues here. This is standing water. Curbs missing, is just not there. Even when they put in the new ADA compliant one, you can see the pitch is probably not correct. These trees need to be trimmed, raise the limbs, something simple. Again, I mentioned that there were people who were, trying to turn this into a place to live. It's probably some of their debris. We also have lots of issues with, people who have pets and things who don't pick up after their pets, or they just think it's okay to leave debris or throw stuff out of their car or their vehicle onto the road. So let me show you this on the other side. So if you look here, this is a prime intersection for accidents, one of which we had just the other night. So we're at Dayton and Varoom Streets, right? And that traffic light down there is Clinton. There's no stop signs from here, Varoom Street to Clinton. So it's a drag strip. And this is an intersection. There's no signage that says it's a dead end. There's no signage that says turn left or right, or it's not a dead end, but left or right. There's simple, small things that could be done. So what we've lobbied for is for the City of Trenton Engineering Department to adopt an ordinance. Hey, what's up, Poppy? To adopt an ordinance or put the procedures in place to have more four-way stops, especially around schools and parks. Now, it's been some years since we've got any feedback from the information that we've been sharing, and we've heard it all. Not enough people, equipment's broken, funding, time of the year, previous administration, on and on and on. And we are now, what's up, man? We are now at a place where people are dying on the streets of Trenton, and those who work in the space to implement or put strategies together, the excuses have to stop. Again, this intersection, because of how it's set up, people creep. Stop signs are small and a low one. We got guys here doing this, the illegal vehicles. No one's going to do anything about that, we were told, because it's a state thing. Potholes. These have been called in by the club that I was just standing in front of on a few occasions that they haven't gotten anything. Again, more issues with how curbings were put in and how it's pitched. It's easy to, just become cynical, because I know there are people out there who are cynical because they've told me. And there are folks who've been civically engaged for a long time. Those folks are bitter. But as a gatekeeper, when you become cynical and bitter, you now are bittering the water for everybody who drinks it. And I think that just feeds into the issue and problem that we have with getting people involved in stuff. And there's not always a political solution. Not everybody has to run for office. You don't have to be an elected official to get stuff done. Anyway, thanks for taking a little tour with me in Franklin Park, my neighborhood here in the South Ward. We've got a whole bunch of different ideas and things that our civic association is looking to implement. Our civic association is Franklin Park's Northeast Block Association. And with the implementation of these things, we believe it's going to improve our quality of life, but at the same time, it's going to provide a safe space for future generations, for people to safely get around, whether they're biking or walking, going to the stores and the businesses that are here, or going to the Franklin Park, which is literally 3 blocks from here, that is in the process of getting updated to become Trenton's first inclusive park. A pause there for effect so that we can think about things from this perspective. And this will be my closing. If we aren't willing to do it or get involved, then why should we expect others? Remember, friends, it's always about justice, peace, and humility.